Hello, hello, hello. Let's get started with a book outline to assist you in your journey to writing. And so let's go pretty much in a circle on this outline. We want to start at the top. It says chapter titles. And so the main thing that you want to do is you want to start laying out your outline through your chapters. We're going to focus in on that for pretty much the general scope of this particular presentation. So your chapters need to have relevant titles. What does relevant mean? It means that you're going to use the titles of the chapter to organize your flow and your topic and your writing. So if my topic is bullying, then I'm going to organize my chapter titles and what I'm going to be discussing as it pertains to bullying. Okay, so let's jump to the left here and identify the ideal reader. So, who are you speaking to? Who is God talking to through your words, through your book? And so, you want to think about it from the recipient's angle and also perspective. That will help you. Like, what is it that they would want to know? What is it that they need to know? What is God saying to tell them? Okay, if we going down to people, one of the things that this helps you with is just come to the realization that there are probably going to be more people reading your book from a scope um, or, than what you think. And so make a list of all the people that you could possibly think could ever read this book. Okay. And let's give an example. So, say, for instance, I'm talking about bullying. Who would read a book on bullying? Okay. Maybe the parents of a bully, the parents of the bullied, an administrator, a student, a teacher, an aunt, a guardian, a grandparent, a community leader, an advocate. And so when you think about your book, you want to think about all the types of people, the demographics of people who will possibly be interested in your book and where they come from and why they might even be interested in using it beyond just reading it themselves. And so, will it be useful to teach? Will it be useful for study? Will it be useful as a resource to go in their library? So, you want to look at it from that perspective. So, people and making that list is really, really fun, and it opens your mind to more. Alrighty. So let's go back to the right side and look at the theme. So the theme may come as you go, on and forward with your work. It may come, or you may want to address this at the finish. But one thing I want to point out is the tone of voice for the book. So as you are, doing your outline for your chapters, um, you want to think about the tone in which you're writing. Um, is it smooth? Is it directive? Is it stern? Is it informative? And so, one of the things that really helps as we go down to the next bullet point, which be the know your genre. And so, you can't avoid this part. And guess what? Genres come with the style of even how to write your book, and so it really helps you in the scope of you having some type of theme or a way to approach your writing. That's how I'm going to say it. So you will even answer questions that you have and shed light on it about your book. So, say for instance, you're writing a memoir or a history book or sci-fi book. If you read up on the genre, which isn't just a whole lot of information, but it's very to the point information, you'll be amazed at how it enlightens you about what you're doing and your audience and how to style your book. Alrighty, and so the last point is you can use principles. So, and even before we jump into that, going back to knowing your genre, think of it like this. Are you teaching the reader something? Are you introducing the reader to something? Are you warning the reader? These have different tones. So you can even look into and start a list of words that warn, teach, introduce, so that you can utilize them interchangeably without overuse. And so now going to, you can use principles. Be creative. You can use principles or share a reflection at the end of each chapter. You can summarize things for the reader in case they want to, have an idea of the big picture or the big point that you were trying to come to after you explain the details. And so you can do this every 3 chapters. It's not something that you have to do per chapter. And it's only an idea. You don't have to do this. These are things that can come as you're maturing through your book. Alrighty, so this is going to be pretty much as is, as you see here. You want to introduce the content, okay? Going on down to the below that, introduce the heart behind it. You may have a story or something that happened that inspired you to write the book, okay? If you go on to the bottom, be specific about the point so that you can actually produce a book flow for your topic. Okay, so you may want to begin by saying you will talk about bullying. And say, for instance, we've already introduced the content, we already introduced the subject matter. Now, go into what points that you want to cover within the topic. And so you're going to have the chapter or the book outline, but then you're going to go into the chapter and do a chapter outline. And this is where I'm going to give you more of a map on my next page where you can go into the point more specifically. Alrighty, so let's go to the top on the right side. Allow the outline to be how you forecast your content. So, what in short will you talk about and in what order or sequence? Okay, and lastly, have an accountability partner. During this process, you want to set times, meet with your accountability partner at the beginning, and set times on the calendar for when they should do what. So, for instance, if your accountability partner should check on you to see how you progress, maybe say, or you contact your accountability partner. Maybe you want to let them know you finished a chapter per week. How are you doing at the end of 15 days? Whatever you do, you want to make it a point to have accountability throughout the process. So I would definitely go by milestones. I would not let it drag out. I would not let it be silent between me and my accountability partner. This is so that you can be more serious and intentional and move because you got somebody else relying on you to come back with something. And decide on what kind of accountability partner do you need. Do you need somebody who is more knowledgeable, or do you need 2 or 3 accountability partners? One that would say, "Hey, have you done anything? What have you done? Let's go over it." You want to be honest throughout this process, and you want to be very serious. It is a very serious decision to write a book, and so you don't want this to lag or drag. And so have those accountability partners know their purpose, let them know what their purpose is, and make sure it's something that they can actually do with you. All right, here's the detail. Okay, more detail. So we talked about the book outline. Let's go into the chapter outline, which is going to be, again, pretty simple. Okay, so chapter 1, you're going to have your main point for that specific chapter. So now we've moved from book outline to now we're doing chapter outline. So your book outline is going to be like the title of your chapters. Now you're going to go from that title and then pull your point. Okay, so what point are you covering in that chapter? And so you want to get point 1, maybe point 2, maybe point 3. Maybe you have 1 point. Maybe you have 2. But that's how you want to now outline the chapter. And you want to do this throughout your book, so that you can flow. This will help you become even more specific about where you're going, what you're going to talk about, and how you're going to finish that book. Your book does not have to be 200 pages, by the way. It doesn't have to be long. So this will also assist you with how long or how short your book is. If your book is 100 pages, if your book is a little under 100, this will assist you in kind of knowing where. Because even with your chapter outline, you want to you want to kind of keep up with how many pages you're doing per chapter. You don't want chapters to be too long. You don't want them to be too short. You don't want them to be too varied. So you want to kind of um, keep it kind of uniform, a rhythm. Alrighty, so I want to show you two ideas that I did bring up um, between chapter 2 and chapter 5. And this is just for illustration purposes and just to show the point, show you a visualization of the point I'm making. So, say for instance, you're doing your chapters, but you have this piece of information that needs to be explained, and it may take time to break it down. So, you can use your book to transition your reader. So, say for instance, you have chapter one. Then maybe after that, you had principles, or maybe between the chapter three and chapter four, which would be a quarter of the way of your book, you want to transition your reader into maybe say another topic, okay, within your main topic. So, um, you can be creative and use your book in a way that helps to really get across the teaching that you or the information that you're bringing to them. Alrighty. And so some men of faith, women of faith, add principles to the end of their chapters. They also ask questions. Sometimes they ask questions for thought, so the reader can um, basically think through something or apply a life application principles. Maybe you want to assist them with change. You want to assist them with not just reading in the information, but what are they going to do about it? And so you can use your book as a tool instead of just information. Okay. And so that's really why I wanted to give you a visualization on between chapter 2 and chapter 5. And I strategically put these two right here, mainly because this map allowed me to. It only had two blocks, right? It only had two grids. But you can be strategic about where it would go in your book. It does not have to go like you see here. All right, and I hope I covered that because all of them were basically the same, the main point, and then your three main points off of that chapter title. Alrighty, so let's go into the chapter example a little bit more. Okay, so you got brainstorming, for instance, and then you got underneath the brainstorming, you got your introduction, you got summarizing the main thing, like the main point. So when you sit down to just say, "Hey, I'm at the very beginning of this work. I'm going to brainstorm. I'm fixing to just work on my introduction." Your introduction is going to basically give you a summary of the layout of your entire book. Okay. It's going to summarize, what you're going to say. But one of the things is you don't have to unfold and reveal things that you want them to read or to look at more detail. But you also may want to say something that they can look forward to in your introduction. So just kind of go through this particular part of the presentation, and that way you can have a little bit more details on how you can structure your chapter, how you can use your chapter techniques and tools to generate ideas. And so you can do a lot. You can even do things that I was saying at the end of it within the chapter. So instead of putting your principles at the end of the chapter, you can put principles as one of the points within the chapter itself. So, say for instance, you were talking about bullying, and then giving the parents strategies for coping skills, and then you could talk about it from the parent perspective. But then you can go into your next chapter and talk about it from the person being bullied perspective. Then you see you can just go so many ways with that, and so this is all about giving you ideas as to how to. You know, Pretty much not be mundane about your chapters. Alrighty. And so let's go to the next thing. These are just six main, goals, just overall. Set the goal. What will you do first, second, third? You want a time block. You want to complete an outline. You want to, in the meantime, work on the other parts of the book, which is called front matter. You also have back matter. So I will attach links in the description where you can have those resources for free, and you want to make sure you cite your sources. Please do not leave this step out and do it as you go. and select who will read your work as you do your work. Alrighty, this is the end. Thank you so much for your time, your patience, and listening.